Hello, everyone. We are live. Today is Thursday, and as you know, this is the weekly interview. And I'm here with my new guest, and you will meet her in just a minute. Just a little housekeeping things to take into consideration. If you're here live with us, down below in the comment, just put hashtag live, or if you're seeing the replay, hashtag replay. And do tell us where you're coming from. We always like to know where you're coming from. As you know, I'm coming to you from Mexico. My guest today is coming to you from the USA, and we'll find out where in the USA. And the other thing that I like to do is tell you a little bit about how my guest and I met. And I'm going to say it again. We met online, and you meet the nicest people online. It just is very rewarding to hear myself say that over and over again because it is such the case. What we have in common is that we were participants in a challenge, and the challenge was called Born for This. We met on day two. We have the same mentor, Maya Comerota. And that's all I'm going to tell you. I want to bring in Andrea. So, Andrea, how are you? Say hello to everybody here.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Lucy.
Right. Could you tell us first, Andrea, you're in the United States. Where in the United States are you?
I live in Cold Spring, New York, which is in the Hudson Valley, about 90 minutes north of New York City. And I'm from Canada originally.
Ah, I thought you were Canadian. So, why are you living in the US?
Oh, love will take you places. I met my husband in New York when I was touring with my documentary film, and I met him at a festival with the Clearwater Festival with Pete Seeger.
Oh, how cool is that? What year was that?
We met in 2004.
2004. I'm always going to be taking notes because I'm always very curious about things that people say, and I like to come back to them. So
Sure.
2004. So was it love at first sight, and then you got married, or how did that story go?
Well, in fact, it was love at first sight because I had been single for 12 years and while I was making my documentary film, and I've been consciously following my intuition since I was 21, so I'm 59 now. And I was in the festival and my intuition told me to go back, and I went back because I was consciously following my intuition, and I saw the storytelling section, and my husband is a master storyteller, and the minute I saw him, I felt like I knew him forever. I felt that we were a part of each other, and I just knew he was the one.
Oh, how great. So I mean, you were visiting from Canada, so it wasn't an easy thing, I know, because I was born Canadian also. And when I came into the US, believe it or not, it was in 1969. We were called aliens back then, you
Mm.
know? So so how did that happen? Did you then get married and
Well, you know, I invited him to come to my film screening at the festival, and he couldn't come. So I said, well, maybe I could show my film at the library where he was on the board. So when I got back to Canada, I contacted him with the pretext of showing my film,
you knew
but
all
then
right? You
discovered we were both single and we both were attracted to each other. And if you ever do a piece on finding true love, there's a whole other part of this story that is all about synchronicity and signs that I received. I asked the universe for 3 signs when I meet my true love, and those signs were very magical. And he came to visit me in August, and we met on June 21st on a blue moon. And he
remember
came
so
in
well.
August, and we were smitten.
You remember all the details so well, but when it affects our emotions, we remember all those things so well.
Yes,
Isn't that the case?
yes.
So, okay, so you keep saying your film. Okay, so before we get into that, I'd like to. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? What it was like living in Canada, and maybe tell us where in Canada. I personally was born in Quebec City, and I certainly don't want to go into my story, but where in Canada were you born? And, a little bit about your background,
Sure.
growing up, educated, all that.
Yeah, so I grew up in Ottawa and Toronto,
Okay.
and went to university in Montreal. And I wanted to pursue acting when I was a child or younger,
Hmm.
but I was discouraged to do that. It wasn't very practical, right?
Right.
So I went into journalism because I also love to write. But then I discovered that this urge to be on camera and be more in a entertainment field, and channeling different characters was much more appealing. So I switched from journalism to film production, and I went to Concordia University in Montreal in film production. And I acted in my peers' films, so I got my start, in acting in films that way. And I also was a fashion model, so I paid for my university by modeling. And before I went to university, I lived in Paris, France, as well for 6 months. And then after film production, I was on a spiritual journey because I was very upset about what we as humans were doing to each other and to the planet. And I just saw this. I came up with an experimental film based on the Red Shoes, by Hans Christian
Right.
Andersen, using the metaphor that the rate of progress was increasingly getting faster and faster. And I had this feeling we would self-destruct if we didn't do something to change our path, our trajectory. And so I made a I made a fiction film, no, sorry, experimental film called The Red Shoes. And I used that as a metaphor for the rate of progress.
Wow.
Then I also was really interested in how do we find balance on the planet as spiritual beings in physical bodies?
Right.
And how do we live here in a sustainable way? And what came up for me through my, pondering and thinking and was through unconditional love. And it's through the heart that we find the balance between spirit and matter. So this began my kind of spiritual journey when I was 21. And in film school, I made The Red Shoes, but then I made another film called Mythologies, which was a short film about this subject of balancing spirit and matter, but it was in a narrative form. And I also acted in it because my dream was also to act. I wanted to sing, I wanted to make art, and film production kind of um, included all my passion, philosophy, photography, storytelling, acting, singing, music, art, visual, cinematography. Um, so I pursued filmmaking, and then after university, I went to India, and I was on a spiritual journey, and I learned how to meditate, and I wanted to know what is enlightenment. That was my big quest. And I did a 10-day Vipassana meditation there. And I just started really tapping into my chakra system and meditation. And I noticed how it was shifting my consciousness big
Mhm.
time. Like it totally transformed my world. And before I went to India, I met a native man on the bus, a First Nation man on the bus in Vancouver.
Okay.
And he had invited me to the medicine wheel gathering on solstice. And I went, and I'm so grateful I went because I've always connected very easily to spirit.
Hmm.
But I going to that medicine wheel taught me how to ground in the earth. And I think if I hadn't done that, I'd still be wandering around in white robes in India.
That is amazing. I mean, and you've done so much I mean, you're 50, you tell me that you're 59 now, and we're talking about way back when you're 21. You've already lived a whole full life where, that most people, it takes them a whole lifetime to live.
Well,
So,
I read the Old Man and the Sea when I was like 17 or 18 years old. And I said to myself, I want an extraordinary life. I do not want to live a life of quiet desperation and mediocrity. And I wanted
Um,
to, my goal was to pursue my dreams and
yeah,
travel the world and learn ancient, sacred knowledge. And just, I wanted to live with indigenous people and learn all
right.
about humanity and how we find balance on the earth. And I was always into philosophy since I was like probably 7 years old.
Wow, so it's amazing how you were so that so into your environment and the earth. The earth was you were rooted. Already at that age. It's unbelievable because you don't see that very often. So tell me, you were a fashion model. You were an actress. You were a filmmaker. You also were a journalist. I mean, how did you know which way you were going to go with all of that? I mean, did you have any kind of plan?
Well, I knew I wanted to be an actress and a filmmaker, and I still work as an actress and a filmmaker.
Okay.
Um, the unfortunate thing is, in film production, they didn't teach us the business of filmmaking.
Right.
And my path has been very spiritual, creative, and business never really interested me. But what I discovered is, if you don't know how to raise the money, you can't make the films. So, and if
Exactly.
you write the book and you don't know how to market it, no one's going to know about it.
Right.
So I spent 9 years making my documentary film, thinking that acting and filmmaking were going to be my continued
Yeah.
career. um, However, I had a complete burnout after making my documentary film. It's called The Sacred Run, The Lotus and the Feather. And it was about peace and environmental awareness and changing our consciousness to the fact that we're all one. And you don't poison your own water that you're going to drink.
Right.
So um, so when I did this film, I thought it would take me a year. It took me 9 years,
Wow.
and I had a nervous breakdown, and I was actually went through a depression and felt suicidal.
Oh my God.
And I had to heal, because during the time of making my film, I also had memories of being sexually abused. And I realized that I had been sexually abused as a child. And these memories they kind of came up to my subconscious, but it wasn't until I was in making my film, and my film was with a desire to raise consciousness. But then I had to go through my healing journey,
Right.
because I had this. When you're sexually abused, it robs you of your confidence, it robs you of your worth, it robs you of all your three lower chakras were pulled out from underneath me.
Wow.
And I always live from the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra. But these last, having to make my film and finish it, I had to go deep into and heal my first three chakras, the issues of my first three chakras. So, and by doing that, I finally was able to align and connect with great, call it divine source, God, whatever you want to call it, universal wisdom, divine consciousness. It's all one to me.
Right.
And I began to tap into this connection with my higher self. But it's kind of mysterious, right? Because I'd get guidance, like a voice would come into my head, say, go back. And I'm like, go back. Oh, there's my husband.
Yeah.
So, but when you do activate all your chakras and you're living in alignment with, I say, cosmic and earth, heaven and earth, let's say,
Right.
then you you exponentially develop both sides of your brain.
Hmm.
I'm at a place of kind of went from depression to kind of ecstasy and bliss, and kind of equanimous state where I feel so much joy and my heart is overflowing. And that's what's led me to where I am now at 59 years old, is, along with my filmmaking and acting, now I want to mentor and guide other women and help them on their healing journey,
Right.
because I realized if you're lacking confidence, which I did, I was lacking confidence.
Hmm.
I didn't have the courage to try to get, whatever, a producer. I didn't know how to sell myself, and it took me 9 years to make the film. And had I had the confidence, it
Right.
would have taken me probably a lot less.
But Andrea, I mean, the question that comes to my mind is, when you realize all this in in your consciousness, how did you heal yourself? I mean, did you seek outer help? Did you? I mean, you had to go through a deconstruction and reconstruction stage
That's
kind of thing, you
that's what
know.
I call it.
Yeah,
I
and
call it my
so,
deconstruction reconstruction phase.
uh-huh,
From
and
um, that after I made the film, we shot the film, but then what happened is a lot of women started attacking me while I was making the film.
wow,
Like I got a lot of knives in my back from that.
you're
About
kidding me.
five women. And I was like, what? Like, you're my sisters. Come on. Like, why are you, like, we're trying to raise consciousness. Why are you
Right.
being so mean? Right. So that kind of led me to do a lot of healing with my sister wounding as well. And so I think that, making the film really was part of my healing process. And I did the healing through, I had some therapy. Um, I've been meditating for 30 years. I'd say meditation is key to inner peace,
Hmm.
really, and inner knowledge. It's such a powerful tool. And also I did a lot of shamanic, like journeying. I did a vision quest. I've walked on fire. I did a course. I walked on a trapeze. I did a course called the Spiritual Enlightened Warrior Camp. I did the Landmark Education Program. I studied with James Van Prague. I read a lot of books, and I journaled a lot, and I did a lot of
In a
inner
work.
work.
Hmm. In a
And
work. Hmm.
one of the books that really made a huge difference for me was the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Right.
And this is such a good story. It's a short one. I'll just share. I was, I had made my film. I was $60,000 in debt. Just had my heart broken by a man that I was in love with, and I didn't know. I just thought I had messed up my life. Nobody cared about my film, and they're not thinking about peace and environmental awareness. And I just wanted to like bury myself in the snow, is what I was thinking about. And I was, depressed. And my sister was going to pay for. She's a doctor. She was going to said, "I'll pay for your medication." I was like, "No, I want to get to the root of this." So I went to the doctor, and he said, "You don't need medication. You need to read the book, The Power of Now."
Wow.
And what that
Unusual.
was, when I was meditating, one of the messages in the book was about gratitude.
Hmm.
And I remember just crying my eyes out. And I was like, "Thank you, grass. Thank you, cloud. Thank
Yeah.
you, squirrel," whatever I saw. And then I said, "But God, if you want me to keep spreading this message of peace and love and interconnection, I need cash." I mean, I was $60,000 in debt
Right.
with
Right.
no
Right.
job. And I
So how'd
hadn't
you get
started
out of
some.
that?
Well, I'll get to that. So then, so I just had that thought, "But God, I need cash if you want me to keep doing this message, right?" So I went on a date with a man, and he was a lawyer, lots of money and everything. We're driving along this small country road, and in front of us, there's three money bills that fly up from underneath the car.
Right.
And I said, it was like a cartoon, actually. It was
Yeah.
like ka-ching, 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 really like a cartoon. I said, "That looked like money, didn't it?" He said, "Yeah, do you want to go back and see?" And I felt kind of embarrassed because I
Yeah.
literally had like $100 to my name at that time. And I said, "Yeah, you never know. It might be $100 bills for all we know." And he turned around, and I saw him get out of the car, and I hear him say, "One $100 bill, two $100 bills,
Wow.
three $100 bills."
What a story.
And he hands it to me, and I just threw my hands up and I said, "Thank you, God. I will never worry about money again."
Wonderful.
Because to me, that was a miracle.
Right.
How
Right.
did I say, why did I say that it could be $100 bills? And what are the chances of seeing three $100 bills on a country highway
It was God
blowing up
in
from the car in front of me?
divine interference for sure.
I truly believe it
I
was
do.
a miracle.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this caused me to, have more faith and just keep on my path. And I also had an experience where he talked about honoring your emotions, and I always felt shame because I've always been very sensitive, like I cry easily and then I can't speak, and so I always thought I was weak because I was so
Hmm.
sensitive.
Yeah.
And Eckhart Tolle said, to allow your emotions and honor your emotions. And I had this strange experience where I cried and I cried. I cried for myself. Then I started crying for the world, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, Lucy, I had this experience. I was on the porch in the rain, right? Like a covered porch, and it was dark and raining, and I was just crying out there.
Hmm.
And then I had this experience that I felt like I traveled through space. I saw stars and planets, and I was just hurtling through space. And then I just had this explosion of consciousness that was like, I felt that I am one with everything.
Oh.
And it was real. And I wasn't on any hallucinatory drugs or anything.
Right.
This was just meditating. And I came back from that and I thought, I am not alone.
Right.
I am being guided because my soul chose to be here right now. And as long as I stay connected to my heart and my soul and Mother Earth and God or divine consciousness, I will always be guided. And this is what I want to share with people because I,
Absolutely.
I've been in the dark night of my soul.
Right.
And now I feel like I've returned with the elixir on the heroine's journey.
Right.
You
It's
know,
so well put. I mean, it's taken that mess to and making it your message. It's so potent, so powerful. And I just love that whole story that you tell about how you became aware of all this. It's unbelievable. Can we go back and this happened and but now you're married. Now you live in the Hudson Valley, and your husband's a storyteller. So you know when we think about business, it's not storytellers or actresses or artists that make the most money, So how do the two of you kind of make it happen? Uh, be able to live your dream in that beautiful Hudson Valley and continue with what you're passionate about.
well, my husband's been he's been a master storyteller for 30 years.
Okay.
So he's but he's always worried about money, always.
Hmm.
And I'm filled with faith. I've always lived on a wing and a prayer. I've always pursued my dreams, and I've never, well, especially when I saw those $300, $100
Right.
bills, I'm like, okay, I'm never going to worry about money again.
That's right.
But but so I'm in a place of faith, and he's when the pandemic hit and we lost all income. Um, he went into terror mode, and I went into super alignment.
Good,
like
good. Mhm.
like I was doing my yoga and meditating, and he was like, we're gonna become destitute, oh my god. And I'm like, honey, we're not gonna become destitute. We can make all those films we've been wanting to make. We can write those books we've been wanting to
There
write.
you
Like,
go.
I was excited. And
Positive and gratitude. Yeah.
yeah, and I just focused on, okay, let's do the projects. And I did do a fundraiser because we literally had like $200 right at that time when everything
Hmm.
shut down. We were
Right.
so broke at that time because things would pick up in the spring for my husband, and I didn't earn that much. But we knew money was coming down, but it was all shut down. So I did a fundraiser and I called out to, I said, we have merchandise. If you'd like to make a donation, we'll give you a CD or T-shirt or this or that book, DVD. In exchange, we need support. We don't know how
Right.
we're
Right.
going to get through this. And then, thankfully, thank God, the government, finally gave us some unemployment insurance, which we
Right.
normally are not eligible for.
Right. 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 Right.
And then with that money, I invested a lot of that into online courses because I said to my husband while he was freaking out, I said, honey, I commit to you, I am going to figure this marketing online world out, and we're gonna get through this. And not only that, we're going to have, we're going to soar, and we're going to figure out how to market. So that's what I committed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, now, and then he learned how to do storytelling on Zoom, and we'd make films in our forest.
Oh, how wonderful.
We have a few storytelling films on his channel, and Jonathan Kruk, kruk.com on YouTube. And then we do live storytelling in our backyard with a fire going, and we tell spooky. He would tell spooky stories, and I would film him, and so we got through it. And then I'll just share. He's still been worried about money because it's not the same as before, right?
Right.
And he's a gig. And there was a thing about law of attraction. If you believe in a miracle, type yes. If you believe in a miracle in the next hour, type yes. So I did. Within 45 minutes, my husband, I said, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. And then within 45 minutes, my husband walks into my office and said, with tears in his eyes, he said, Andrea, the Archdiocese of the Catholic Schools have just contacted me to be the storyteller in residence.
Wow.
That would cover his whole year
Wow.
of storytelling in schools. So I believe in miracles. I really, really
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. And does
Really
he today? Did
do.
this
He's
change?
still in a kind of a 3D. He's still going through a lot of fear and some depression, which is, I shouldn't laugh because he's going through a dark night of the soul, to be honest.
Right.
But
you're
when he's storytelling, he's connected to source.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant storyteller, but I wish he would just relax and have more faith. But I have enough faith for both of us, so
for
I
both
just
of you.
trust that he'll what he's going through now. I really trust that he's going to come out of it and feel that what I'm feeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you say, you have enough faith for both of you. So
I do.
you'll be the wind under his wings, so to speak.
Yes, that's
So Andrea, let's talk about you then, because now so what's from here on, what is going to happen for you and with you, and how can we find out about what you're going to be doing and how
so
we
I'm
can
excited.
participate?
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
I'm excited to share that along with my monthly women's circles, my next women's circle is Friday, October 22nd, and the theme is Step into Sovereignty.
Okay.
And this has been a big theme in my life, is standing in my power. And nobody can define me. I went through a lot of sister attacks, and I became very small, and I've healed that through having my monthly women's circles that I facilitate. The last 2 years has really healed my sister wounds. And then I don't associate with the women that attack me anymore.
Good.
And
serves no purpose.
no, and it was painful because it was a friend who became my enemy. And not just her. And I just was like, okay, I need to look at this. Why is this happening? And I realized that I had a sister wound that I needed to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of women have a sister wound because this culture it pits women against women, and it's a whole competition.
Right.
So in my women's circles, I create a sacred space where we don't give advice. We hold space for each other. We witness each other, and we share on different subjects. Each month is a different subject.
Mm-hmm.
So like 1 month would be reclaim fun, and the next circle would be about Gaia, and then so that's one thing I'm doing. And then after that, I'm going to sorry, so can you hear people outside?
No, we can't hear you. Go ahead.
So the next thing is I'm starting to do offer my services as a one-to-one coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting with like as a transformational life coach, but my background is spiritual and creative. So sorry. um, so the first 9 week, sorry, mm,
I know it's hard.
yeah.
What do you do? It could be a client,
Oh
right?
my goodness. You're going to hear someone talking now. I'm just going to hang up.
That's okay.
Okay. I hung up on them. Okay, so transformational coaching is I will be offering my services to take people on a journey to connect with their soul
Okay.
purpose, and they're building their confidence, and whatever is in standing in the way of them living their fully self-realized self.
Right.
I want to help them on that journey.
Good.
Or people are suffering from anxiety, depression, not
Especially,
knowing what to do.
right.
I really feel that I can help. And then my other program that I'm going to be offering in January will be a 9 week program called Awaken, Align, and Ascend. And that will be in the structure of weekly calls with a group of women. It'll be the same women for the 9 weeks. And we're going to go through the chakras and look at all the issues of each chakra.
Okay.
And I'll be doing shamanic journeying, meditation, we'll be doing
Mm.
movement. I'm very eclectic and I like to combine a lot of modalities.
I
We'll be
see that for
using
sure.
art, you know, writing, um, movement, ritual. Um, and I'm going to start that in January because I thought I'll be 60 in February. What a great way to
Absolutely.
celebrate my 60th year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this sounds all really wonderful. It sounds like you're just going to touch in. Actually, your husband's been taken care of for the next year. He's okay. The archdiocese
Yep.
took care of him. All he needs to do is kind of piggyback on you and just get a little bit of relief. And it sounds like you're going to be doing what you're most passionate about. And
Yes, and
so,
I'm also writing my memoir, but that's going to be
oh,
after the
wow.
and the memoir is called I Am Dragonfly, a transformational adventure of courage, compassion, miracles, and flight.
Wow, that is so wild. So also a book writer. Now you've
Yes,
just
I
added
love to
one more,
write.
I don't like labels, but there it is. One more thing. I mean, you're so multi-talented. It's so it just goes to show you're kind of a Renaissance woman of the 21st century. And so,
Well, I don't know if your people are into astrology, but I'm a stellium Aquarian, which means I have 7 planets in Aquarius,
wow. Yeah.
Sagittarius rising, and a Pisces moon. So I honestly feel like I was born for this time
Uh-huh.
on Earth because I knew in my 20s that we were going to be going through this difficult time, and it's going to get more chaotic before it gets better. But
Right.
we're moving into the Aquarian age, and I feel like, oh my goodness, I am the embodiment of Aquarian energy,
There
so
you
I
are.
can guide people in this time. and
Exactly.
and I just feel, and then I'll make more films and do all that later, but I really want to help people live their and fully self-express.
Right.
So
I certainly feel your passion for sure, and I'm sure that it's going to be wonderful for a lot of different people. So I just want to repeat. So you're having a women's circle event on October 22nd from 7:30 to 10:30 Eastern
10
time.
p.m., 7:30
I'm
to
right.
10 p.m.
7:30 to 10:30
No,
p.m.
10 p.m.
Eastern. 10 p.m. I'm sorry. I
7:30 to 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Okay, so it's really 2.5. Yeah, I did made that.
That's
Okay,
okay.
so we corrected it. It's 10 p.m., not 10.
Sometimes we go to 10:30 if
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, they should give them that time.
Yeah, and
To,
that's that circle is only $33.
okay,
And because I don't want any woman to be left behind and I know what it's like to struggle
right,
financially, I
right.
also offer a 50% discount if anybody needs it.
Okay,
Um,
wonderful. So if anybody needs to reach out to you, I have your contact here. It says contact Andrea Sadler, and your email is a dragonflysadler@gmail.com,
yes,
or they can go see your film
yes,
at dragonflyfilms.ca. CA is for Canada. And if you want to join in the next Women's Circle on Friday, October 22nd from 7:30 to 10 p.m., not 10:30, then you can go to www.facebook.com/dragonfly circles and retreats.
yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there anything that you want to add? Now, one of the things I'd like for you to do for me is, as you know, I do these interviews because I want women who want to start their online business know how varied the expertise, the knowledge of people are. That they can take their passion, just like you, and start a course, start a retreat, start a circle, take the mess, so to speak, and make it the message and impact people's lives. And so, what would you say to any woman who wants to maybe start her online business and doesn't know where to start or who to trust?
Well, I think this time that we're living in now is so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another, I'm also creating an online course,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also going to be running retreats as well.
Right.
But I think a lot of people have forgotten their dreams,
Yes.
to be follow a practical life, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to help people connect to their soul purpose and connect to their dreams
Right.
so they can remember who they are. And I want to help people uh, heal whatever wounds so they can step up and have the confidence. And I'm hoping to have an online course about online camera presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to learn from you about podcasts. And I just think this is an incredible time for all of us to learn from each other.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I I could have gone back to school. I thought maybe I should be a
Mm-hmm.
therapist, but I thought, no, I don't have $70,000 to pay for 1 year of school. I'm going to
Also,
become a coach so I can.
absolutely, Andrea. We are in the self-education industry, both
Yes,
of us, and people want to learn from people who've already done that, you
yeah,
know?
I've had terrible therapists in my. And not to say they're all bad, but
Yeah,
I've had quite a few bad ones. So
yeah.
just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're a good
Doesn't mean that you
therapist.
you can, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So okay, so that's really very exciting. I just want to really thank you for your time. I know how busy everybody is and how busy you are. And so I know that if there's any other information that you want my audience to know, then feel free to go to the comments below and
Okay.
and just put it in, and I will do the same. And I'll correct that time, 7:30 to 10, not
Yeah.
10:30. And just one more thing I'd like to ask you. Why would perhaps like somebody like me want to join your women's circle on the 22nd? Give me 3 reasons.
Because it's gonna make me cry. Every single person wants to be seen, heard, and valued.
Correct.
And that's what you will receive when you
Okay.
come to my circle, because we are a compassionate circle of women. And I create the space where we're not, it's a safe space to share
Yeah.
what's really going on, because a lot of people are too afraid to share what's really going on.
Right.
So that's
It's a big reason. Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you for your time. I really do appreciate and honor the fact that you took the time and was here to talk to us about your awesome programs. I'm just so excited about what's going to happen and where you're going to go with this, and the new film and the new book. How exciting! So
yes. And I'm
congratulations to you.
so grateful, Lucy. And maybe in December we can meet again, do this
Yes,
again, and I'll talk more detail about my new upcoming 9-week program that'll be ready to go in
absolutely.
January.
We'll get together again.
Yeah.
And audience, thank you for being with us today. And if you're just watching the replay, thank you for that. Please let us know where you're coming from. And remember, weekly interviews, they happen on Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So I'll be seeing you next week. And did you have another thing to say?
Yeah. I just wanted to say the time we're in right now with what's happening
Mhm.
globally, it's really time for all of us to step up. We're at a crisis road, and we need to fully embody who we are authentically and live from our hearts. And
Exactly.
so it's really time for everyone to step up into their sovereignty and really express their true selves. So
Exactly.
it's
Thank you. Thank you for
exciting.
that wonderful message. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to end with that wonderful spiritual message, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you again,
Okay.
Andrea. Bye-bye.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Lucy.
You're welcome. Just hold on. I'll just end the broadcast here.